We have multiple updates to go over surrounding the Toronto Maple Leafs ahead of their big game tonight. We have a major update surrounding Austin Matthews that has Leafs fans concerned. We also have some updates surrounding Yanni Hakanpää and others. Stay tuned for all that in this episode. But before we get into it, quick reminder, hit that subscribe button. If you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Leafs content. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. And thank you guys again for your continued support. And Darius will be live tonight following the game. But there's a lot to go over today, Darius. Obviously, a huge win yesterday against the Detroit Red Wings. McClellan's debut with the team. All these things were going on, and the Leafs come out and they absolutely dominate the entire game from start to finish. Joseph Wall had a great game. There were some players who, there's a couple players who still didn't play phenomenally, but this is all without Austin Matthews dealing with an injury, and they're obviously missing a couple of other players as well. But we have some updates on that front, and there's some good things and there's some bad things. We're going to start with the bad thing. So Austin Matthews will not play today or tomorrow, so yesterday or today, against Washington per head coach Craig Berube. This latest setback will keep Matthews out for at least 4 games, extending his absence from last week. And again, he was day-to-day, as we all are pretty aware. That's a very fluid term around here. And you see some people are starting to say now, should the Maple Leafs genuinely consider the idea of not letting Austin Matthews play at the Four Nations Cup face-off? So, Darius, I just want to get your thoughts on this. He's out again tonight, and I'd assume he'll be out for the following games as well. We'll probably hear an update about it maybe later tonight after the game or tomorrow, or maybe before the game today in the interviews. He's out again tonight. He was out yesterday. The Leafs are going to hopefully win tonight against a very good Washington Capitals team, but it's a very good Capitals team, but it's extended once again.
Yeah, once again, he will be missing tonight, and he could miss a couple more games. Obviously, there's no real timetable for him, just like the first time he was out. Like, it was day to day, and then it was week to week, right? So there's no real timetable for him yet. But again, the Leafs have a game to focus on tonight against the Washington Capitals, and they're going to continue to do their thing. And some other players are going to step up, right? And we'll discuss that later in the video. And there is some good news, like you saw off the top of the video via Sportsnet. Like, Austin Matthews was skating this morning. He's back on the ice, so he is working through things. And it does sound like he is feeling a little bit better. And we'll touch on that a little bit later in the video as well. But it's not a good thing that he's out. Obviously, he's been plagued with injuries all season. So I would keep him out until he's 100%. And yes, I just mentioned that he's skating, but continue to skate, see how you're feeling, and wait till you're 100% and feel like you're ready to go, because the team is carrying him a little bit, I guess, right? They're carrying their own weight through the season here, and he doesn't have to return at any point. And will he play in the Four Nations face-off? I think yes, like, he can play if he wants to, if he's feeling good. I think that's totally fine. But if you're the Leafs in the organization, you got to make a decision with the player that if he's still not 100% by the end of this month or creeping into the end of this month, you're not going to play in that tournament. And it kind of stinks because you do want to see, a player of his caliber play in that tournament. But I think the team comes first in this regard. And if he's not ready to go, then he won't play. I think that the most important thing is if he's ready to go for the playoffs for the Leafs.
And obviously the end of this month is 3 days away, because then that's the New Year. So he has a little bit of time.
Well, January.
Yeah, the end of January. But even then, if he's not ready by the end of this month, there's still going to be more concerns surrounding Austin Matthews from the Leafs perspective. Obviously, the Nations Cup, I think he's going to want to play in that. He has a lot of time. But regarding the actual Toronto Maple Leafs, obviously they're going to have some time off with everything going on and the Cup. But they need him back. And obviously, we saw yesterday they played well without him. But the prior game before that, they played bad without him. Mitch Marner had a hat trick yesterday. He played really well without Mitch Marner plays better without Austin Matthews. At least he's more aggressive when it comes to scoring. In the fourth period on Austin Matthews, you don't need to rush him. That's the last thing that needs to happen here. Make sure he's ready to go. If he misses the next 10 games, that's fine. The team is going to be fine. You want him as healthy as possible come playoff time. And that is the case. I would agree with that. However, the kind of the devil's advocate to that, at least from my perspective, is that they're also going for the Atlantic Division. They're trying to win it. And with every game that Austin Matthews misses, obviously it's a little bit harder, even if sometimes the team plays better with Mitch Marner. Obviously, Mitch Marner's been playing better without him when it comes to at least scoring goals and deferring less. And there's no structural damage, or at least that's what Nick Kiprio says. He appears to be no structural damage, and that he's feeling better after the Christmas break, even though he still hasn't been playing. He's had some time off now. And let's also not forget, yes, he's missed 4 games. We have to, this includes the Christmas break that spanned the entire last 7 day or 5 days, really Monday to Friday. So it's 3 technical full days. So he's been out now for a little bit, and it started as day to day. So that's where the concern, I guess, lies here. But the good news is no structural damage. We're seeing him on the ice, and he skated for about 30 minutes and looked pretty solid. So I do think he's going to return soon. I don't think he's going to be out for a long period of time, maybe a week or 2 more, but I think it's just the same old. I mean, I'd rather him play it safe with Austin Matthews, but the day-to-day thing's a little bit silly to me.
Yeah, and the fact that he had, Craig Berube's words over the break, and I am being very skeptical, I guess, because of what just happened a month ago with him being out, and there was a lot of secrecy around it, and obviously he went to Germany, and the fact that they were very open about the fact that, it was the cross-check that re-aggravated that same injury. I was thinking this could be a real problem, but the fact that Berube came out before the break and said, you know what, we're going to give him the break, see how he's feeling, and then they ruled him out for these 2 games. Now he's back on the ice, so I think he's still a little bit away, but he's progressing from, returning to the lineup. So I think that's a good thing. And we could end up seeing him. He could end up playing the Four Nations face-off. I think the end game here, what probably will happen is he will return sometime in January, early January, and he should be fine, hopefully, right? I think that the most important thing is if he returns to action, what can they do to prevent that from flaring up again? I think that's the most important thing, even if he's not close, or not 100%, I should say. I think that's the most important thing to ensure that he's okay later in the season and come playoff time. But I think it'll be very interesting. And again, they're being a little bit secret, which is fine. It's the Toronto Maple Leafs, I guess, right at this point. But it's good to see him back on the ice this morning. Guys are stepping up for him. I think that's great, and it sounds like it's nothing too significant. Like obviously, Nick Kiprio said, no structural damage. So hopefully, he's able to work through this, get back to close to 100% or 100%. Obviously, 100% would be great, but don't return until you're feeling great, and that you can kind of prevent that from happening again.
Yeah, and it's Austin Matthews. So if they're going to be secretive and protective of any player, it's going to be their franchise one. And the Leafs are doing fine. They're tied for first with Florida in the top of the Atlantic Division. Again, second night of a back-to-back. Matt Murray is starting tonight against the Washington Capitals, which is interesting. And surrounding Yanni Hakanpää, someone we haven't heard about much, he's also skating on the other end of the ice and is wearing a gray jersey. He's primarily been working on his skating and is now getting some shots in from the point. So we saw Phil Myers play yesterday. We saw, obviously, Morgan Riley. Benoit's been having a very rough go as of late when it comes to actual on-ice production here. So, Darius, it's the Yanni Hakanpää situation. Before I wrap up, I just want to get your thoughts on it here. It's a very interesting one. We've heard he's been skating. We've heard he's been progressing back. He's played, I believe, 1 game with the Toronto Maple Leafs, 1 or 2 games. So do you see him factoring into this team at all? We discussed it on the stream the other day, and fans aren't really, I think they've kind of checked out of the Yanni Hakanpää experiment.
It's looking less and less likely to me. He's played 3 games this season with the Toronto Maple Leafs, which in those games he looked okay. And I was like, okay, he's getting up to speed. Like, he's going to, take some time here to get up to speed. I was very excited about this signing in the summer. We were live on stream when it happened. I was like, this is a great signing. He probably won't play much, but come playoff time, he'll be great. I don't know if he's going to make it there at this point. And Craig Berube came out and said today that, he's still a ways away from returning. So what does that mean exactly, right? He's barely played this season. He just had another procedure. He's, not learning how to skate, but trying to, relearn how to skate to a degree on his new knee, right? Like his new normal, I guess. So it is pretty interesting to see what's going to happen here over the next couple months. But I think that was a great way that you put it there. I think a lot of Leaf fans have kind of checked out on him. They're looking at other options and what they can do with the defense because, the fact of the matter is he hasn't been here and he hasn't played a lot. So I think that they will continue to look at other options and he'll continue to progress. Can he get into games? Can he be good enough to play in a playoff game? That's why they signed him. So I guess time will tell with Yanni Hakanpää, right?
Yeah, and also, I mean, hopefully he gets into the game, but we know the Leafs they're also maybe a little bit checked out because they're shopping for defensemen. They're shopping for everybody. And once trade deadline comes, if they end up picking up another defenseman, we'll have videos on that, of course. The Hakanpää experiment might come to an end. But quick note before I wrap up. Mitch Marner, like I mentioned earlier in the video, way better when Austin Matthews is not in the lineup. And I think most of that just comes down to him being more aggressive, him having to rely less on Austin Matthews like he's kind of known his whole career. So hopefully that continues tonight against the Washington Capitals. Let us know down below what your thoughts are. And again, we'll be live following the game tonight. So make sure to check out the stream. We'll see you guys later.